Look who's here. Oh my God, look who's here.
I made it on time. It's 11:30.
You made it on time. Steven, what's
Eleven
going on?
31.
11:31. Whatever. What's going on, boys?
What's up? We are live right now. As soon as I hit the live button, you popped in, man, and it's kind of crazy because you didn't do the same courtesy for Thomas back, a couple weeks ago. So I'm glad that you could join us. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Fantasy Football Intervention. I'm joined by my co-hosts Dave and Steven. You guys can find Dave over there at Dynasty Dorks on Twitter. You can find Steven over there at Coach Steven P on Twitter. You can find me over there on Twitter at FF_intervention. Big shout out to fantasy football discussion in the chat today. I cannot wait to get started on these week 17 questions. It is going to be a fun one. Of course, it's championship week. And you guys know what championship week means, right? Like you guys should already know. I see Dave knows because of what's in his background. I know. Steven doesn't know because Steven doesn't even have one of these babies, I don't think. He doesn't know how to win a championship. But yes, if you guys end up dominating in week 17, head over to TrophySmack.com. Once again, that's TrophySmack.com. Grab yourself a championship trophy. As you can see behind me and behind Dave, you have a championship belt as well. And you get all sorts of customized fun stuff. Go check it out over there at TrophySmack.com. The coolest part about TrophySmack and what we've actually added to the mix over there at TrophySmack is this wall art. This is called Wall Smack, guys. This is the coolest thing out there. Right now, it's a metal wall plate, right? And you actually get magnets, and the magnets go on your wall. And as soon as the season ends, I'm going to be redoing my whole background so I can actually have some more Wall Smack on my wall. But you can actually change it out. So you just pop this on the wall. You can take it off. You can add whatever you'd like. So let's just say you have a man cave, right? And you have your boys over, and you want to put a hot chick up there on the wall. You can slap this up there. Boom! And then as soon as the game's over and your wife walks in, you can go ahead and rip this off the wall and put up, a family-friendly picture, whatever the case is. No, but go check it out over there at Trophy Smack. And if you guys purchase a trophy or a belt, and you guys enter in promo code CIRCLE at checkout, you will get a free ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. Use promo code CIRCLE. Make sure both are in your cart at the time of purchase. And boom, you'll get it for free. Yes, there's the ring. There's one of the rings. I have a bunch of rings behind me too. I got a couple right. I don't know why they're down here, but I got a couple rings right here. You can actually do custom rings, like you see. Oh, that's upside down Busch Light. Austin Eckler, there you go. Oh my God. Are you guys ready to get the show started?
Let's do it. We already got a question.
Yeah, we got a question already. Before we answer this question, I see a Facebook user in the chat that asked about Dotson, Chark, Jacobs, and Algier. Can we go over an injury report real quick? Can we just discuss some of these players that are going to be in or out that we've been waiting on? Because this week has been kind of crazy in terms of like players that are going to sit. Like Hurts is out, for example. Is there another few players that we can go over, Dave?
Yeah, Field Yates just tweeted, Trevor Lawrence, Jerry Jeudy, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Chris Olave, Julio Jones, all active. Inactive, Jalen Hurts, Carlton Davis, Xavier Howard, Teron Armstead, Bradley Chubb. And so Teron Armstead is the left tackle for the Miami Dolphins. And so that is big. And Xavier Howard is the top corner. Bradley Chubb is their second best or best pass rusher. Jalen Phillips has been pretty good. So Carlton Davis is facing against Carolina. So that's interesting for DJ Moore and for Sam Darnold. Marshawn Lattimore starting today. That's he'll probably get AJ Brown. I don't think that's going to kill AJ Brown or anything.
Marshawn Lattimore is pretty good up against these bigger, more physical wide receivers. So, AJ Brown's still a different animal, but he's been able to shut down players like Mike Evans and whatnot, which is more of a possession receiver than AJ Brown is. But still, he might have a little bit of an effect. I think that's wheels up for Devonta Smith, to be honest. All right, let's go ahead. Get your started sit questions in the chat. We have one right here. Dotson or Chark, also Jacobs or Algier. Chark's been dominant for like 3 of the past 4 games he's been playing in. I think he's like a top 20 wide receiver, top 24 at least wide receiver over the past 4 weeks. He's that type of receiver that will end up stretching the field, that will get that sideline, that boundary type role. And up against the Bears, who have been terrible against the wide receiver this year, I really like him. I think he's more matchup proof. I think he's got a higher ceiling and a higher floor, I think, than Dotson. I'm going to go Chark on that one. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Chark. Dotson is going to be a touchdown or bust situation. He did have a lot of touchdowns with Carson Wentz, but I think Chark is basically as long as he's not playing, as long as he's playing against Chicago, I'm gonna start him.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you guys. Shark is, I think, the better option today because I feel like the Commanders are going to want to run the ball with Brian Robinson in a very favorable matchup, and I think this unit for the Detroit Lions are going to continue to throw the ball. And Shark, like you said, Chase said, they've just been so dominant in the air, and Shark has been a good beneficiary of that. So I'm going Shark too.
Oh man, Happy New Year to you guys, by the way. We also have a question, Jacobs or Algier. Algier is a great matchup up against the Arizona Cardinals, but one of my biggest fears this week for Algier, and I like Algier. Like in DFS, I'm playing Algier and I'm playing the Atlanta Falcons defense, and I'm pairing them up in a lot of different matchups where I need to get a cheaper running back. But my biggest fear is that this game gets really, really gross, right? Like we see Algier with 20 plus carries. We see James Conner with 20 plus carries. And they pretty much just keep the ball out of their quarterback's hands because they got the rookie over there with Desmond Ridder. They got David Blau over there on the Arizona side. Like this game could literally be over by like halftime of everybody else's games just because of how like slow moving or how much they run the ball and how much clock gets utilized. So I'm a little bit afraid that Algier doesn't actually get the volume needed to an extent and the receiving work needed to be able to be a relevant option in fantasy. I think I have to go Jacobs in this one. Do y'all have a different take?
I'm sticking with Jacobs, but I will just say that I did move him down my rankings this morning outside of my top 12. I don't like the lineup against San Francisco.
Yeah, it is a tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup. You got the quarterback situation. They're going to be able to just target Jacobs, but I'm going to stick with Jacobs over Algier, but it is much closer than it should be.
You know what? I might actually change my answer. I mean, it is San Fran.
San Fran's tough.
I don't think they've allowed a single running back over 100 yards since like week 8 or something, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jacobs didn't get 10 targets.
Over 60 yards. Not one running back this season has 60 yards rushing.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I'm going Tyler Algier. It's just that he's been on fire lately. I know that they're probably going to lean on Jacobs a little bit more, but 49ers defense is just that good. They're not going to allow them to run the ball on them. They're going to have to be forced to pass at some point. They're likely going to be behind, so they're going to be forced to pass the ball anyway. Jacobs isn't seeing like 8 or 9 targets a game. Neither is Tyler Algier, but the Arizona Cardinals do allow running.
I'm changing my answer. I'm going Algier with you. I'm going Algier.
It's
right, I'll lone wolf it with Josh Jacobs, but we it's hard to base the stats on what with Derek Carr versus Stidham. I think Stidham checks down a lot more than Derek Carr, and Jacobs is going to get a lot of receptions today.
Oh man, they haven't allowed a touchdown to a running back in five weeks. Like this is not pretty.
Yeah, they're my DST1 for this week.
Even in the receiving game, like they've allowed one running back over 40 receiving yards this season. So unless he's getting like 8 or 9 targets, that's the only way I see Josh Jacobs even having a decent game.
All right, let's hop over to this question. We have Goff or Cousins this week. All right, so I've got a team, right, that made it into the best ball finals on Underdog. I have a chance of winning $75,000 today. I need Cousins to go off. I need Cousins to have a massive week up against the Packers. And he's done it. He did it in week 1, but that was week 1. So I'm hoping for Cousins. But if I have to choose between these two, for the finals, I'm going Goff. Goff is going to be on a mission up against the Bears. The Bears are going to be able to generate yards because they can't stop running backs. They can't stop pass or running quarterbacks, so they're going to be on their heels for part of the game, at least in the first half. I think Goff is going to have to pass. I think that Goff is the right answer here. I like Cousins this week. I do. And I'm hoping the Cousins throws for 4 touchdowns, but I think Goff is the right answer here. Steven, what do you got?
I'm thinking I'm going to stick with Jared Goff still on this one. I expect this Bears and Lions game to be somewhat high scoring. I mean, I expect the other game to be more high scoring as well, but Jared Goff has been so good about not turning the ball over actually for once over the last month, really, besides this past week and everything. But Kirk Cousins to me is just kind of like, you don't know what you're going to get. It's a lot of risk. Like he could have put up like 40 points, but then he could put up like 14 and they're in Lambeau. It's kind of cold, I'm sure. It's on the road. I'd rather go with Jared Goff this week here. Let him air it out against a really bad Bears defense.
I got Goff at 7, Cousins at 8. So I mean, I have to do linear rankings, but in a tier, they're together.
Yeah, that makes sense. You guys know what's delicious? And by the way, this is not a sponsor. This is my first time ever having the Wendy's breakfast this morning because I was out drinking last night. I was a little bit hungover this morning, so I decided to order in, and I got this. And what they do is they put a Frosty into a cup, and then they pour coffee over top of the Frosty. It's freaking delicious, dude. Like, it is ridiculously good.
Sounds amazing.
Good. I've had it.
Yeah, I got some pineapple rum that I put in here to get some hair of the dog. It's been a fun morning. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to our next question. I'm in the championship somehow after losing Javonte Williams, JT, Damian Pierce, traded for Mixon, have AJ Brown, Mike Williams, but I'm flex. I'm struggling. Latavius Murray, Gabe Davis, Courtland Sutton, Drake London, Jahan Dotson. Drake London's actually been getting a ton of targets lately, right? Like, he's actually been the hyper focus since Desmond Ritter's taken over. He hasn't done anything with it. So Drake London will forever make me nervous playing him, but it is a good matchup up against the Arizona Cardinals. I told you guys this game will be gross, but I think Drake London has the highest upside of anybody here. Meanwhile, Courtland Sutton has the Kansas City Chiefs. Once again, good matchup, but hasn't been seeing the targets necessary. Latavius Murray, great matchup against the Chiefs. Gabe Davis, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game. He will likely be involved. Jahan Dotson over there has been involved in the offense. I think you have a lot of really good options, to be honest. Do you guys have a take on which option you would like to go with? We'll go with you, Dave.
Oof. This is a tough one. I'm just looking at my rankings. I have Drake London at 32. I have Courtland Sutton at 35. I have Gabe Davis at 39. Jahan Dotson at 40. So all these guys are in that 30 to 40 range for me. Drake London, they like to use him, and he's their best red zone target. And so I'll go London. But if you're looking for a boom play, Gabe Davis in a high scoring game it's fireworks, and it could blow up in your face. But you could also have the really big ceiling here, and I think much higher than any of these other guys.
Was that a Justin Tucker reference by any chance?
Justin Tucker? No.
Wait,
you had Jason Pierre-Paul?
Oh, I did. Damn it.
And I'm a Giants fan, so no, I would not do a low blow.
Sorry, that was a JPP reference. My bad. I said Justin Tucker. Wrong defensive lineman. Oh, man. Steven, who you got?
Yeah, I think I'm with Dave on this one, honestly. If you're looking just for a safe option, I think Drake London should end up having a pretty decent game. He's done a little bit better since Desmond Ridder has taken over. Not incredible, but a little bit more consistent in terms of targets. But if you're looking for that big play, I want a piece of this Bengals-Bills game tomorrow night. I mean, it's just going to be high scoring. I'm expecting it to be over 30 points each team. And I think Gabe Davis sees the end zone this week. So if you're looking for that big play, it's Gabe Davis. But if you're looking for that safe floor, it's definitely London.
And we didn't talk about Latavius Murray. Is anyone thinking about putting him in there?
I almost traded for him this morning. So I have Rachaad White in one of my leagues at my running back position because I have Javonte Williams. I have JT, and both those guys are out. And then I'm like Michael Carter. So I ended up almost making a move for Latavius Murray in my dynasty league. I'm very still tempted to accept the trade because it's still out there pending a 3rd round pick for him. And I'm in the finals. So like, do I sell out my 3rd round pick, which typically doesn't hit, for a guy who also doesn't hit? Or do I play Rachaad White? I'll actually let you guys tell me what to do on this one. Should I make the move and play Rachaad White, or should I make the trade and trade for Latavius Murray and play him over Rachaad White?
I'll just keep my pick and run with Rachaad White. I don't think it's worth it. But I do have Latavius Murray a couple spots ahead of Drake London looking at the flex rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather just pull out White. I don't know if Murray's going to do it. If Murray, I just knew Murray had like the full role, and especially the passing. That's the thing for me, that Chase Edmonds back now, and the passing is, he saw the passing work last week, and that kind of scares me off with Latavius Murray just a slight bit. I'd rather just pull out White because I think they end up with the same outcome anyway, and you save that 3rd round pick.
All right, let's go ahead and hop over to this one. Pick 2, non-PPR, Mixon, Jacobs, Walker, and Knight. All right, Zonovan Knight has an interesting matchup against the Seahawks. The Seahawks went through a span of like actually good games where they did not allow running backs to get a ton of rushing yards, touchdowns, etc. The past 2 weeks, they've been completely porous. Meanwhile, they always let these pass catching backs, get some work in the receiving game. So this feels like a Michael Carter type game for me over there versus Zonovan Knight. Meanwhile, Jacobs has a really tough matchup. Mixon is interesting up against the Bills, also a tough matchup though. And then Walker, who has a more advantageous matchup against a team that cannot pass to like you can't pass through your wide receivers, so you're going to have to run. I think I'm going to take Walker in this one, even though he hasn't been efficient. What say you guys?
Going back to Knight, I'm not worried about Michael Carter. Knight's taken his job, and he's a good pass catcher. And the only reason he's not been catching passes, he was hurt, and then Zach Wilson. And so nobody catches the ball with Zach Wilson just because Zach Wilson. Sorry there, Steve. Mixon and Walker for me, but I did move Knight up my rankings this morning now that Mike White's officially in the game. Mike White he's had games where he's thrown the ball 15 to 20 times just to the running backs. I moved Tyler Conklin up as well.
Yeah, but this is non-PPR, so the receptions don't even matter here.
No, I get the receptions don't matter, but he's going to get receiving yards for those receptions.
Okay, true.
And so, but I do want to, but I'm still going to go Mixon and Walker for this question. But to talk about Knight a little bit in your PPR formats, I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm probably going to roll out Knight, honestly. As Seattle's just been terrible at running backs this entire season here, and this whole Jets offense has been kind of put down and neutral with Zach Wilson. With Mike White, they were wrong, especially on the run game. The run game was thriving under Mike White, and I'm going to go back to Knight that he ends up having another good game. And I'm definitely not starting Mixon. I don't trust Mixon enough to put him in my lineup this week, so I'm probably going to go with Walker and just play both these running backs in this matchup here because it just shows the way we talked about Josh Jacobs before. I just don't see Josh Jacobs getting enough work. If it was PPR, I'd probably put Jacobs over Walker, but I'm going to go Walker and Knight in this matchup.
Yeah, Knight will probably be my other one. I had Walker as my first one. I'm probably going to go Knight as my second. All right, sit one, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, or Algier, full PPR. Oh, my God, this is tough, man. This is tough. Swift has a great matchup. Montgomery has a great matchup. And Algier has a great matchup. With full PPR, I think you have to go Swift. I know that he let you down last week, but he still has shown a dominance when the game is on the line. I think last week they kind of just wanted him to rest after they were getting blown out. Dave Montgomery, he's going to get a touchdown this game minimum, at least one. I think he's going to work in the receiving game as well. I think I'm going to bench Algier. Dave?
Oh, yeah, this is a tough one. Looking at the rankings, I have Montgomery as my top guy in this one. I know Detroit's tough. I know they've been working Herbert back, but I have Montgomery slightly ahead of Swift and Algier.
It's so bizarre how we actually had like a Lions defense that was not allowing yards to the running back for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. And then they just opened up the floodgates last week against Carolina and allowed 300 yards rushing. It was bizarre. Like it was so bizarre. It's like watching, Detroit back in week 1.
Yeah. And there wasn't any significant injuries or anything,
No.
Before you'd be like, oh, Vita Vea is out. That's why Tampa Bay was leaky. No, like is it McLean is on the right side. And he's one of their like just run stuffers for the inside D tackle. And I have no clue what happened last week, but I was definitely wrong when I told people to sit Foreman when he was RB2, even though he only played on like 40% of the snaps.
Yeah, it was brutal. Steven, which guys are you going with? I might actually opt to go out here over Dave Montgomery and think the last week is a fluke week. I might. But Steven, let me know what you're thinking.
Oh man. I want to say Montgomery. I want to go Montgomery here as a sit for me personally. I just love Tyler Allgeier's matchup this week that I think he really will have a fantastic week. I think Swift just deserves to be in lineups, especially in full point PPR. Montgomery, he's tough for me because I feel like, Khalil Herbert came back last week. He played a good amount of snaps in his first game back. This was a team where they were basically splitting 50-50 for quite a while this season here. And I think, Herbert gets more work in this game here, and I don't think Montgomery gets as much. I know the Lions allowed a lot of rushing up last week, but I think it was slightly a fluke to some extent. I don't think they're going to allow both Montgomery and Herbert to run for over 100 yards, both of them, to this week. And I expect the Lions to be ahead early on in this game here personally. So I'm going to sit Montgomery.
Yeah, the more I keep talking about it, the more that I'm talking myself into Algier over Montgomery. So DeAndre Swift is a lock. Then I'll go Algier over Montgomery. All right, we have Goff or Brady. Goff, man, he's my go-to here. I still like Brady to an extent this week up against Carolina, but like this is a divisional matchup. I know the playoffs are on the line and Brady plays the best when the games are on the line, but his receivers need to do something too, and his receivers haven't done anything. I'm going to go with Goff in this one.
Goff.
Yeah, going with Goff as well. I like Brady though too, but definitely Goff.
All right, let's go ahead and hop over to this one. I've used the Philly defense all year, picked up the Giants and Jags to block opponents, and now I'm leaning on starting the Giants. What are your thoughts? Honestly, like I would start the Jags over the Giants, but that's just me. Dave, you're the resident Giants fan. Who you got?
Oof. Let me see. I'll just tell you what my rankings are. Let's just do it that way.
Just go to Dave's rankings. If you need any questions, just go to Dave's rankings.
I have Eagles, Giants, Jags, 5, 6, 7. Eagles.
Steven?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you could go either way. Both are good matchups, but I'm going to lean the Jags. They've been just so good on defense over the last 3 weeks now. Houston hasn't really done much on offense. So I'm going to lean the Jags to get some turnovers today.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see the Jaguars up on offense. So it's going to it's going to allow some passing or some interception opportunities, I should say. So, yeah, I'm going with the Jags. I have the Jags in a lot of lineups this week. All right, good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year to you as well, Dame. I need a wide receiver 3 and 2 flex spots. Options are Gabe Davis, Lazard, Olave, Sutton, Pacheco, and Najee Harris. All right, so we need a wide receiver 3 between Gabe Davis, Lazard, Olave, and Sutton. Is the Watson? Do we get any more update on Watson? He practiced on Friday. He was good to go.
Game time decision.
That's a bummer. Okay, Olave's in, right? Olave's healthy.
Olave's in.
Up against Eagles defense, I don't want Olave. I know I just asked if he was, if he was in, but the second I bring it up and I think about the Eagles, I'm like, nah, I don't want Olave. I don't want anything to do with Olave. We talked about Gabe Davis and his explosive potential. He could be a smash. I like him over Sutton. So then I guess it boils down for me between Gabe Davis and Lazard. Do any of you guys have Olave or Sutton over Lazard and Gabe Davis?
Not at the moment.
I'm not a Sutton guy. I'm not a Sutton guy. So I have Sutton lower than all of the options as far as the receivers. I have him at 40. I have Olave, Lazard, Davis, Sutton as far as the receivers. Olave does play a lot in the slot, and so he may not get those options. They're going to be playing from behind, high-scoring game. I like Olave. I like Lazard.
Wait, you think it's going to be a high-scoring game?
I think Philly's going to boat race him, and the Saints are going to have to chase him.
Really?
Gardner Minshew he's put up 30 points every time he started for the Eagles, and he didn't even have A.J. Brown last year. What did he put up last week? I mean, they that offense was
2 touchdowns. It was 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Gardner 350 yards.
He was QB5.
Avonte Maddox is out.
I'll take Najee Harris, Pacheco, and Olave. But I do like Lazard this week against Minnesota. Minnesota is terrible against receivers, and I could definitely see Lazard getting in the paint.
Yeah, I mean, I want Davis, Lazard, and Najee today.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Steven. I'm going to go Gabe Davis, Lazard, and Najee. I think I was going to go Pacheco over Lazard, but it's just too good of a matchup. All right, let's go ahead and take Matt's question, and we're going to be finishing up here in a few seconds. I understand not a lot of people are in here, plus my dog's barking at the door because he hasn't gone out yet this morning. So we're going to end it here after 2 questions from Matt, unless anybody else gets their question in the next 2 minutes. So we have the Giants, DST, the Chargers, or Jags. I picked all of them up for today's chip. Who do I start? All right, for me, it's between the Jags and the Giants. I think that the Chargers actually could end up getting this could be a lot higher scoring game than what most people anticipate. It just depends on how well Cam Akers plays. Which seems like, by the way, they're all on board with Cam Akers being their future running back. They're all supporting him and getting behind him. I think he gets 20 plus touches this week. I'm going to go with the Jags over the Giants. I think there's more potential for turnovers, more potentials for a touchdown on the defensive side, way higher upside, which you're going to need in most championship games. I'm going to take the Jags. I just don't see how you can go wrong with the Jaguars.
I said earlier, I get the Giants above the Jags and the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Jags still, just like the last time we did this.
All right. Oh, wait, this was the same thing. Leading Giants against Foles, and Indy's giving up the most points to DSTs. Yeah, that's great point, but a lot of that had to do with Ellinger and Matt Ryan. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, if you guys want to go over and show your league why you were so dominant this season, remind them why you were a champion, go over to TrophySmack.com, purchase a trophy, and get a free ring along with the purchase of a trophy or championship belt. You can customize championship belts, put whatever you'd like on them. Use promo code CIRCLE to get a free ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. Promo code CIRCLE. Make sure both are in your cart. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck in championship weeks. And thank you guys for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.